I don't remember much of anything since we've been on vacation. Welcome back, JJ.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew. It's been a while.
I think I said that way too fast. I don't know if anybody caught what I was trying to say there. I feel really out of practice right now.
That's because we haven't recorded with each other in at least 2 weeks. It's been a while.
It feels longer.
Yeah. It does feel longer for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, we've both been on vacation. I got the flu at one point, so there's a whole week there I don't really remember.
Oh, man. Rough.
Yeah, it was a lot of fever and not a lot of the rest of it.
Well, that's good. It could be worse, I guess. Fevers suck, but it's better than the rest of the potential of that disease.
Luckily, it happened after vacation pretty much, so.
That's good.
Yeah. Welcome back. This is We Were Gamers, right?
Yeah. It's a podcast about us talking to each other. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, so interesting.
Yeah. And we haven't done that in a while, and so now we're going to do that. Andrew, you went on vacation, and actually so did I. Where did you go, and what did you do in that vacation?
I and my family went to Utah to visit Salt Lake City and Park City, Utah.
That sounds pretty cool.
It was awesome. The funniest part of the whole trip is we got there, and there was snowbanks up to my knees everywhere in Salt Lake City.
Awesome.
We went to Park City, and I skied I snowboard, but a lot of people just say ski when they mean snowboard, you know?
Right.
Went out to Park City. We had a great time. Katie got to relax a bit. Our daughter hung out with my parents, and then we came back to Salt Lake City. And I guess while we had been in Park City, the temperatures had gotten into the 50s, and there was no snow anywhere.
And it's gone.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. We were gone for 2 days, and snowbanks up to my knees had disappeared entirely.
Well, there you go, man. Just goes to show you. Sleep on that snow for 1 minute. Bang. It's out.
Do you remember, JJ and I actually a long time ago went to Denver, Colorado, and did some snowboarding and skiing.
Yeah, I remember. That was a fun time.
Yeah, so it was not as bitterly cold as that.
It was quite cold that one weekend we were there.
And it hadn't really snowed when we were in Denver, so it was a little bit icy, and this was a lot more powdery.
Oh, nice. That sounds good.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. There was a lot of downhills that were a little bit mogul-y, but overall we're just like, oh no, I fell. A nice warm blanket.
Yeah, man, that's the best. That's really what you want when you go skiing.
It was quite fun. It was a good trip. We all got little colds and sick. I got the flu from it and all that, but overall, it was worth going.
Awesome.
Where did you go?
I went to Mammoth for a weekend during that time while you were on vacation.
How was Mammoth?
Really good. We only got to ski for 1 day, but it was fun. There was a lot of the mountain was actually closed because they had too much snow.
Oh, it was like dangerous?
Yeah, like there was avalanche control people out there, and they were shooting the howitzer at the mountain to like break the snow up and stuff. Pretty fun.
Whoa.
Yeah. But we had a great time, except for the wind. It was very windy that day, but it was a really good time on the mountain. So that was nice.
You know, I've never been snowed on before while skiing, really. I had one time.
It's not fun, I don't think.
It was the middle of the day, and it was sunny, and there were big flaky things coming down.
Uh-huh.
So that I don't really consider that snow. You know, it was warm out.
Right.
But this time it was kind of like cloudy, and at middle part of the day I did get snowed on, and thank goodness I had my face mask with me. Because it's miserable when you come down the mountain slapping snow into your face, and it's like semi-wet and kind of cold, and there's no sun.
I have been skiing in a, like, not a blizzard, but close. Like, where it is snowing for real, and also, like, there's a moderate breeze. It was not fun. It was really cold, and, like, the snow just, like, gets in everywhere, like, all the openings in your clothes and stuff, and you're just, like, freezing all the time. It was not an awesome time.
Mammoth was overall good, though.
Oh, yeah, Mammoth is great. It was probably, pretty warm most of the day, but there was tons of snow all over.
Cool.
since things had been closed, or since a lot of stuff was closed, they definitely had time to groom everything. So there's a lot of nice runs.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
really
then
fun.
you went somewhere else.
Yeah, and then after, I think you guys were gone for about a week, right?
Yeah, just exactly, basically.
Okay. And then I think pretty close to when you got back, I went to Hawaii for my cousin's wedding.
Shucks.
Yeah, I know. Tough life. Yeah, so Stephanie and I took off to Hawaii, and we had a wonderful time at that wedding. It was nice. It did happen to rain on their wedding day, so the wedding was inside instead of outside. But
what island was it on?
The wedding was on Oahu in Waikiki. It was very nice.
I was going to say certain islands like Maui, it rains every day.
And that's still probably true, even on Oahu, right? Like, it's raining somewhere.
I don't know. It has something to do with the way that they face and all that sort of stuff. Each island's kind of their own microclimate. As far as I remember, Oahu is the driest, but I might be wrong.
Yeah. It's just like, depends on like where the mountains are and like which side of those mountains you're on and that stuff.
Yeah.
But so we were on Oahu for 4 days, had a lovely time, went out into the ocean during a rainstorm. That was pretty fun. And then we went after that, and all the wedding stuff was over. We went to Maui for another 4 days.
You know what I've never had in Hawaii, no matter how bad the weather's been? A miserable time.
Yeah, we had a very wonderful time. We went and toured the Maui Brewing facility out there, which
how
is
cool
really
is that, by the way? I've been to that facility.
Pretty sweet.
As well.
Pretty sweet. They're building another facility next to that one. And the one they are using now isn't even at capacity. They're already like, yeah, we know. We're just going to build another one.
Did they explain to you why they use cans?
Because importing the bottles is like more waste. Right? They have to import the bottles from the mainland and then send it back to the mainland. And they say it's a waste of time, so they don't do it.
And it has to do with recycling. They can recycle aluminum on Oahu, but they can't recycle glass.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
So they can keep the cans around, and then not have to ship the trash of the bottles back again.
Right. And they said they're like 98% energy efficient, and when they're, or not efficient, independent. And when their new production facility comes up and the solar panels get installed, they will be completely off the grid.
Good for them. Hawaii's doing it right.
Pretty cool. They talked a lot about how much they love the environment and how they're all, big fans of living in Hawaii and all that stuff, and they want to keep it nice for everyone. So that was really fun. We also went to another brewery while we were there, Kohola. If anyone gets a chance to check that out, it's in Lahaina. It's very fun, but really small, cool little place. Good beer too, for sure.
I've probably been to Hawaii more than both my hands can count. And I've never been to Lahaina that I can remember.
Okay. Well, there you go. Next time you go, check it out.
No one ever wants to make the drive.
It is up there. But if you're in like Kaanapali, which is another area that people go to frequently,
yeah,
then it's not that far from there. So.
Worth it.
Yeah. And it was apparently whale season in Maui also. So we just like looked off our beach, and every day someone was like, oh yeah, I saw a whale.
Yeah, they're all migrating right now. So they're really active.
And on our little snorkeling tour that we took on a boat, we saw probably 50 whales, I guess. I don't know. That's exaggeration, but a lot. We did see a lot of whales.
Cool.
And we got to snorkel and saw some sea turtles and the stuff that you do when you go to Hawaii,
Ocean things.
Wonderful, wonderful ocean things.
I really like going there. That's fun. I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
Man. It's been a long time. It's nice to get back into it a little bit, warm up.
Yeah.
We have added a blog page to the website since we've gone back, and I think by the time people hear this, there will be the aforementioned and promised at the early beginning of this year blog page where JJ and I will put issues that we both agree upon that there's no point talking about on this podcast because we just say, do you agree with this? Yeah.
Yeah. It's more interesting to let people read about that stuff rather than talk about it, because our opinions are both just going to be like, yep.
So I don't know how often it'll get updated. It might be like Instagram and kind of whenever we think of it, but we'll do, a couple pages every once in a while and post it to our Facebook and our Twitter and all that sort of stuff. So keep an eye out for that stuff there.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other housekeeping stuff that you have?
I don't think I have any housekeeping stuff.
There wasn't a ton of news while we were gone overall, like in the industry of news. Some cool stuff came out, like, well, I don't know if you can count it as cool because it was stolen, but there was a leaked Switch out in the wild.
I did watch a video of that someone posted on like Twitter or Vine or something of the like menus. I don't know, they look like menus.
So that gentleman apparently got a Switch 2 weeks early from somebody at a store, and Nintendo asked for it back, and they gave them the backstory, and it turns out it was stolen from a distributor and all sorts of craziness. And the console has since been sent back to Nintendo by the gentleman that posted all the videos, who Nintendo says didn't do anything wrong.
And that probably means he doesn't get that Switch back either.
No, there's no way. Anyway, there wasn't anything crazy, like JJ said. It looked like some menus. The few things that did come out of it was you could see that there was a smartphone linking thing for the app they say that they're going to do that still has no real definition. And someone cracked Dragon Quest Heroes and said it's going to be 32 gigabytes.
Which is the whole size of the thing?
Well, in that little video, when he powered it on, the storage inside says 32, but you only have 25 available.
Huh.
So they better be telling people that they need to be purchasing extra storage for this console.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one to buy things on carts when they're available on carts, but that's just me. A lot of people like downloading stuff.
I can't imagine that they would let you split it. If you had like a small SD card or whatever, right? If you get like an 8 gigabyte SD card or a 10 gigabyte SD card or whatever, it's not like they're going to let you split the download up between both of those storage locations,
no
right?
Way.
Yeah, so you still need like a, probably 100 gigabyte SD card for this thing.
Yeah.
Man. That's just, I don't know. Crazy. Nintendo, what are you doing, dude?
I don't blame them. I really don't.
Okay. Why? Why not blame them?
You buy a computer, right? And you need storage. You buy a lot of devices these days. You buy extra hard drives. I mean, they're still providing these things on cartridges. Like Dragon Quest is going to be on a cartridge.
Right.
I don't blame them for saying, we can't afford to stick 256 gigabytes in all these consoles and still charge $300 for this thing.
I really don't. Like the storage thing, it's more like a question of what do they want you to do? It's clear by the amount of space they put in the console, they don't care if you use their digital services, right? Like they're not incentivizing me to download games because all their stuff is clearly aimed at you buying these cartridges.
Well,
because if I only have 30 gigabytes, dude, you get like one game maybe, and in some cases not even one.
Yeah, but that's for a AAA title. They're also going to try and support their indie games supposedly more. So if you go out and you buy Dokuro or
Shovel Knight or something like that,
you're talking 10 gigs at most, right?
Maybe. I don't know, dude. Like, how big is Shovel Knight these days? Like, I'm just saying, like, if they don't want me to use, like, I am, in general, for most of my game purchases, digital these days. And, like, if they don't want me to use their digital stuff, well, then, if the game is only available digitally, I'm not going to be thinking about it because I think about all the little carts that I would use. So, I don't know. Like, it's silly to me that they wouldn't just include more storage to allow people to use their digital stuff, but I guess they want to sell those carts.
At least they didn't, say, "Hey, we got a 32 and a 64," and there was no expansion.
Right. I mean, thank God they didn't, because otherwise the console would be nearly completely useless.
Yeah.
You get like 5 small games installed there, and that's probably your entire hard drive.
Sure. I feel like it's the answer to a lot of people who would buy indie games and not really anything else. I don't put this on their back exactly. It's just too expensive, considering how lightweight that is and that it has to be flash storage. And
yeah, but I mean, how many gigabytes are in an iPad these days? A lot, right? Like you can get 100 gigabytes in an iPad, right?
I think 256 is kind of the max.
Okay. I mean, it's not that they couldn't, it's that they chose not to.
Right, but what a 256 gigabyte iPad costs you $900.
And the screen is way nicer and way bigger, and the App Store is probably 80 times the size. Sure. And yeah, so
they got to cut costs somewhere.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not, look, who knows, man? The thing's not even out yet. So.
Yeah, this is all academic, and that's why I said that there's kind of not much news really that comes out of the Switch currently. They had their big announcement. They keep teasing new things like the smartphone app or like sizes of games and things, but there's really no.
Yeah.
Until there's a hands-on, hey, we got Switches. There's nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a little bit of other news going on that I think is cool.
Okay.
And I think you think it's cool probably too.
Well, I don't know what it is, so I can't say that.
Well, when this airs, we'll probably be tweeting about whether or not the SpaceX capsule officially hit the ISS.
Oh, has SpaceX finally made that launch? I knew it was happening soon-ish. I did not pay enough attention, I guess.
They finally got it off the ground on Saturday after having to unload and reload the tanks because they thought there was a misplaced nozzle on Friday. But they got it off the ground Saturday, and the Stage 1 rocket landed perfectly, and they have video right now of the thing flying through space waiting to meet up with ISS. It's a cool day for science, man. Private industry is flying in space.
Yeah, doing more than NASA is at the moment.
Probably for the foreseeable future.
Yep. So interesting. So are they... So the capsule then is on like some kind of rendezvous orbit
correct
situation? It's just like trying to align their orbits or whatever?
Making sure they crossed all their T's, give them time,
Gotcha.
Keep it in space until they're ready.
Yeah. Man, if you've ever... Okay, for anyone who loves space and thinks space is really interesting, this is a complete tangent, but it's worth pointing out. If you love space or think space is really fun and interesting, you should play a game called Kerbal Space Program.
Oh, yeah.
And you could just actually play that game instead of trying to teach your kid how orbits work or anything, because this game is a better teacher than that, than like math books. It is like real space flight, like teaching you how you like what things you'd have to do to get your rocket up off the ground and intercept an orbit with the moon and how to like change orbits and all this stuff. It's a really like actually pretty complicated procedure that when you learn how to do it, you're like, oh, obviously. But it requires you to think in a bunch of weird ways. Like if you want to go from a lower orbit to a higher orbit, you actually have to thrust away from the thing you're trying to get to. It sounds silly, but like that's how it works, right? You have to like point your thruster in the opposite direction of the direction. Like if you're trying to chase someone, right, like to dock with a space station, you would think you want to, like depending on if it's higher or lower than you would want to like push yourself towards it, but often you don't want to do that. You want to push yourself away because you need to be higher, stuff like that. It's really confusing, but it's how space works, man.
That game gets amazing reviews. At some point,
it's really cool.
I hope to play it.
It's really hard. They're pretty good with all the physics stuff. So, like, you make your little janky rocket and then it explodes immediately.
Awesome. Well, we'll do that one at some point for sure.
Anyway, just a shout out for people who like space. Check out Kerbal Space Program.
I think everyone should like space, but
yeah,
moving on.
Space is sweet.
Did you see the E3 pricing?
I saw that they said they were going to offer tickets to the public and that it was going to be a lot.
I think
$250.
No, I think it's like $250 a day.
Yeah, $250 a day.
A day. Oh, hey, we're going to let the public in. Give us $300 a day.
But also, you got to expect that most of that day is going to be spent standing in lines.
I was excited when I think Michael mentioned to us, hey, the public is going to get in. Well, not that we couldn't try to get in otherwise, but if the price is anything like the price for the public, I don't think it's worth it. Just watch it online.
I believe from like other podcasts and stuff I've listened to, the industry price isn't like that much different. So you're paying more or less the same price as those people, but usually they're there for work as opposed to us who would really be going for coverage and for fun. But it doesn't seem like no one knows what this thing is, right? So like they're letting the public in, but what is the public actually going to get to do? Since most of E3 happens behind closed doors anyway, what are you going to get to see? Just whatever booths are on the floor? Is it just going to be like, like a Comic-Con style thing now? I don't know.
I've been to E3 one time. I got somebody's badge that went for the first day and then had a conflict the second day. And it was essentially just a bunch of booths on a con floor with video game consoles in them for tons and tons of demos and things like that, as well as an exorbitant amount of the kind of sad, I think, booth babe attendance.
Those have been banned from E3 for the past like 6 years.
Oh, really? So it has been a long time since I've been. It was probably about 10 years ago that I got that badge. So
yeah, or it might be less than 6, but they made a big deal about it on some of the other podcasts that I listened to when they said they banned that. Everyone was like, finally.
Yeah, it was kind of just stupid. They weren't there. They didn't know anything about the games. Like, I'm happy that people can get employment doing whatever, but it was just kind of silly.
Yeah, but from my understanding, also, like, there's a lot less like demo stations sitting out. Like, it's more like the things that there are on the floor, right? According to some of these other podcasts, is like there are lines.
Yep.
And the lines go into theaters, and in the theater you sit and watch videos or like presentations about games.
Oh, okay.
And watch other people play them, like the developers. And that's it.
Okay, so
then there's like maybe a few places like the Sony booth or the Microsoft booth where they have like those demo stations available. And almost everything else has nothing for you to play. Unless you're a fancy person and have meetings and press contacts.
That sounds like an expansion of what used to be there when I went a long time ago. It was like handing out leaflets and watching people play in the booths, right? Like,
right.
The booths were all open. You could see the games. There were people milling about, and there weren't really lines because you just sort of got pamphlets and stuff like that. There wasn't really much going on overall. I don't think I played a single game while we were there. Like, there was no place for me to like go try something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, point being, I think it's funny that people are so excited that, the public can go, and it just seems like a sham.
Yeah, it's like everything you want to see, all the coolest stuff in E3 gets announced in those press conferences.
Yeah.
Right? The press conferences, and all of those are streamed to the internet live, so you can find out about them as soon as the people there could. Right? Maybe you don't get to get hands-on with any of those games, but guess what? Neither do most of those people. And like all the coolest announcements are always so far off in development that there's nothing for you to play. So, whatever. Like, it's cool. Like, great. People should be able to go see things, and it shouldn't be like some secret cabal event or whatever. But I don't know that it really ever was that, because, like, by the way, people from the public have been going to E3 for the last, how long has E3 existed?
Oh, yeah, sure. People get badges through whoever.
Yeah. Like, I heard that all you needed to get a badge was to say you worked at a GameStop, which is to claim you're in the industry, which is true, but also hilarious because, come on, dude, you just work at a GameStop. You're like an hourly, employee in a retail store. You're barely a part of the games industry.
Oh, don't be so mean to retailers.
Look, there's nothing wrong. I'm glad people do that job because I certainly can't. But, look, man, what are you going to do at the trade show?
Yeah, nothing. I don't know. I'm sincerely surprised that store hasn't turned into like the old video store with like VCR tapes everywhere.
No, I don't think it's going that way. They're doing a lot more of the like, here, we got a whole wall of Funko Pops now, man.
Well, yeah, and they're the ones pushing the like, come on, you want to do DLC.
Got to get that pre-order, dude. Pre-order this stuff. Buy this used game.
You could have a shirt that says GameStop on it in your game if you pre-order through GameStop.
Wow.
Speaking of which, Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild
Okay.
DLC.
I mean, are you surprised by this?
Yeah, man. This is the first, like,
Why?
well, Mario Kart 8 had DLC, but that was...
A lot of it, actually.
Sure, but they put out a full game first. And then they were like, hey, we could add more stuff to this, actually. This seems like before they even got there, they had a Switch-branded T-shirt for frickin' Link to wear. That's what you get for pre-ordering that, by the way. A Switch-branded T-shirt for Link in the game.
Yeah, I mean, why would you use that?
I don't know why you'd use that.
You wouldn't. That's my point.
I kind of want to boycott the DLC and not buy it. That's the one thing I've always held in high honor about the Zelda games is that you just got a full game. You paid your money, you got a full game.
Hold on, though, but like, how do you know you don't get a full game? What if the game is fine without any of that DLC and it's just more?
We've talked about this before. When they announced DLC ahead of time, right?
Which is actually extremely common that happens, by the way. Almost every game announces their DLC plans before the game comes out.
I know that, but overall, if they've got a DLC plan in place and it's got story content, which this does, that means that essentially we've said, hold on, let's not put all the story in the game.
I mean, there's no way to know the game isn't out, so we can have a debate about this, but it's entirely possible to have an entire game with a beginning, a middle, and an end that tells a whole story.
Sure.
Without the DLC. And then when you get the DLC, it adds more to that story.
I'm sure that's what it is.
But we have no way to know because it's not out.
It's just disappointing. I'm not anti-DLC. And in games like Skyrim that I'm almost done with, I could tell you that, I haven't even played some of the DLC, and I may not. It doesn't seem necessary, right? They put in plenty in the game. You could have been busy for hundreds and hundreds of hours without even doing the DLC. And that may still be true for Breath of the Wild, but it feels like they've taken the last bastion of making a complete game.
I really just take issue with you calling it a complete game. You can buy the game without the DLC, and you still get a complete game. It's not like they're selling you half of a game. It doesn't end in to be continued in the DLC, probably.
Hopefully.
And so, like, it's not that it's incomplete, right? The game is done. It's fine. They're just giving you more of the game if you want to pay for it.
I understand that perspective. That's kind of the point I was making about all the other games, right? I don't know. Maybe it just feels wrong for a Zelda game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the first time they've done it for a Zelda game. That's true. It's also the first time Zelda has been an open world roaming, like, survival kind of game.
They're definitely expanding the genres for Zelda, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the first time you've had to worry about your sticks breaking in half every time, and you needed to find a new spear and a new shield or whatever. So, I don't know. We'll see. I actually I don't know. I'm really torn on all that gameplay, because a lot of that gameplay loop just looks boring and not that fun to me. Like, I like the part of Zelda where it's Zelda and you go through the dungeons and you use your, like, cool tools and whatever to do stuff in it. I don't like the kind of gameplay where you walk around and scavenge spears and get meat off enemies.
Well, you did that in Witcher.
No, I didn't do that at all in The Witcher. That was the thing. I fast traveled all over the world and used the, like, 2 cool sets of armor that I found and upgraded those, and then just, like, went over and did my quests.
Fair enough.
I finished that game finally, by the way.
Nice.
So, the end of that third DLC, mwah, really good.
Was that your prego?
Mwah, c'est magnifique. So good.
I just picture the hand motion, and it looks so awkward.
That's what was happening over here.
All right. Well, I see your point. Just understand my feelings. I'm not saying that they're factual.
Andrew, you're coming from a place of emotion. I understand that.
Yeah.
And your heart is being torn in this digital future that Nintendo wants us clearly to be a part of, but also is shit on by not giving us any storage space in our consoles. So I don't really understand Nintendo's idea here, but hey, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
They want
point.
you to download their DLC, but then not use their store. but we don't have any space on our console for the DLC because the game takes the entire 32 gigs. So, like, what? Anyway, so here we are.
Oh, man. I don't have enough time for games anyway, JJ. With having been on vacation...
Yeah, who has time to play games?
Look, seriously, with having been on vacation, I haven't played Hearthstone literally all month. I'm still ranked 19.
Oh, dude, there's been actually... Hearthstone's all right, man. All the changes. So many changes. Oh, my God.
That are coming. They're not live yet.
I know, but they're good.
I don't know that Hearthstone's all right. I haven't played all month, and I kind of don't want to play.
Oh, man. I've been playing still. It was fun.
We should talk about the Hearthstone changes next time, since they're not they're not time sensitive.
They did have a week where you could do quests against your friends. That was pretty great.
They should do that all the time.
I'm for that. That sounds great. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's do Hearthstone changes next week. We're gonna run out of time today. I can already tell.
Okay.
Mario Run had like a special event where you tracked down gold Goombas in the levels, and then you got statues based on how many you could get. And if you got like 100 of them, then you got a giant statue, and that took a lot of time. I didn't even finish that.
Man,
Katie finished it, but I didn't finish it.
It's a lot of Goombas.
I know it is. So you add those two things on top. You go on vacation. You want to play other games once you get, like home and back in front of your computer. I still want to.
Right.
This so close to finishing Skyrim. I feel like I want to get on it every single day. And then they drop Fire Emblem on you.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes.
And that game is a gacha game, which means you got to be on it every 5 freaking minutes.
Nah, dude. Nah.
It feels like it.
You only got to play until you're out of stamina and swords. Then you can stop.
It's time, JJ. Let's talk about Fire Emblem.
All right, Andrew. Let's get into it.
We waited till now so people could say, "Oh, I don't have any interest in that. See you later."
Andrew, what's your team? What's your A team?
I don't know, but the amount of times somebody's told me, "Did I get my waifu?" I kind of really just don't want to play anymore.
I mean, but did you?
I don't know. I don't even quite fully understand that because I've never really been a part of the Fire Emblem community, that makes all these sorts of jokes, and I don't quite think that I appreciate them.
It's not really a joke. I mean, it's more like it's just like who's your favorite character, right? The joke is that everyone's favorite characters are always the women, and so then everyone asks, your favorite, your digital wife or whatever. But there's also the husbandos, and that's allowed. You can get a husbando instead of a waifu if you like.
I don't mean to rain on anybody's parade.
Uh-huh.
But
you're gonna do it, so
yeah, here, get your poncho.
Okay.
Doesn't it, if you backtrack the thought process here for a second, and you say the best characters or the characters people like the most are the female characters?
I would say that in general, the most popular characters from the Fire Emblem games are all female.
Something I didn't know, actually, by the way, before playing this game. Doesn't it seem a bit misogynistic to then make such a big deal about it? Not only say, like, what's your favorite character? Oh, it's a girl, but then say it's a waifu? Like, it's still about how she's connected to a man. It seems kind of misogynistic.
You're thinking about this way too hard. Your characters marry each other in a lot of these games. You, like, pair them off and like play digital matchmaker.
Oh, I see. That's also information I didn't have. So I guess maybe that's what it's related to.
I guess.
Also, the art in the game is a little bit over the top when it comes to some of the female characters.
The art in the game is Japanese. And the characters are also Japanese. I don't know what you expected.
Japan. Bringing it down.
So, but despite all that, apparently you've played the game at all? Or like, you just want to talk about how you hate it?
I don't want to talk about how I hate it. I think that the system is interesting, and it makes me want to play real Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. It definitely makes me want to play real Fire Emblem games.
Why don't we backtrack after I've kind of just taken us on a complete tangent you weren't prepared for?
Yep, just ranted.
We've talked about what this type of game is before. It's called a gacha game.
Right.
What does that even mean? It's not a game with an end, right? It's not a game with a payoff. There's no...
Correct. There's not going to be an end. Maybe someday they will bring out an end to the story, whereas, we'll see this little, like, Commander Anna and Alphonse and whoever that other girl is will, like, figure out their kingdom or whatever and there will be like a final fight against those evil other kingdom or whatever, the like bare bones of a story that exists in this game.
Yeah.
And maybe an ending to that at some point, farther down the road. But, the game is not a kind of game where there's a payoff or like a ultimate victory at the end. Even if they do that, then you can guess there will be a new bad guy or something that will get introduced, right? The game just keeps going, and it's intended that way. If you've never played one of these type of games before, I don't really know how to teach you how to play them. Like, I don't know the most. So, like, the thing you should do, right, if you want to be the free-to-play person who never pays any money for these kind of games, which, by the way, you probably should not pay money for these kinds of games, because they're kind of exploitative right?
Right, but if I had never played a gacha game before, I would never have known, there's 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and only one that really matters is 5-star and maybe some 4-star. Throw the rest away because they're so much worse than all the other ones. Like, that stuff doesn't exist. Now, I will, to their everlasting credit, Nintendo walked into this situation and said, there's going to be a tutorial and it's going to explain how to play this game very well. And what they did to explain how, especially to play the maps and everything else, they explained it really, really well.
Yeah, to their credit, the actual the playing of the maps is the best part of the game, I think.
Yes.
And that part of it is great. It's all the stuff around it that's kind of annoying and actually is my least favorite part, and I think yours too, of this game. By far.
So here's the maps. You get how many squares? 8 by 8?
Yeah, it's like 8 by 4? 6? Yeah,
6 by 8 squares. All your characters move generally 2 squares. Some move less, and terrain can affect how characters move.
Right.
You have characters of a lot of different types. There are swords, magic users, dragons, axe users, spear users, bow users, dagger users, and
dagger/ninja star
mages, which are kind of like healers usually. I don't really know how to describe that one.
The people with the staff are usually healers. Yeah.
Well, I have none of those, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they're useful sometimes. That's what I'll say about them.
So each of those fits into a category of gray, red, blue, and green, and gray stand on their own, and then the rest fit into a triangle of sort of rock, paper, scissors like we talked about before. And you put them, they're arranged on the map based on the map, and then you fight a tactical game like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics or all sorts of things on these smaller maps.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely exactly like how very similar to how the combat is in the real Fire Emblem games, real quote unquote.
Probably a little less complicated, right?
But the stats and stuff are all the same, right? You still have your speed, which determines if your character can hit twice, and you still have your HP and your defense, which decreases the damage you take from attacks, and then the resistance, which decreases damage from magic, and all those like statistics and stuff are the exact statistics that your heroes have in a true Fire Emblem game, a full Fire Emblem game.
Advantage to this game because each of your characters also has abilities and weapons and like multiple types of abilities. So you have to remember who needs to stand next to whom because these guys buff the adjacent squares or I have 2 turns until my ultimate goes off, and if I walk up there and hit him, then it'll go off faster. But if I only have 1 turn, then I don't hit him because then he hits me, and then my ultimate goes off, or something like that.
Yep. And actually, in a true Fire Emblem type game, the characters have those abilities, and they're often permanently active. So it's like this hero. Like one of the heroes has an ability called Gale Force, right? Which after you take an action, you get to take another action, and that just works every time in a real Fire Emblem game. In this one, they put a cooldown on it, which makes some sense because if you think, oh well, I get to act twice every turn, this hero basically is just twice as good as everyone else, regardless. So they kind of limit you with that stuff, which is probably smart.
That is the most fun part of the game and probably what we'll talk about the most in a few minutes. To do those maps, you have to have stamina, as JJ explained before.
Right.
It's one of the gates and where they get you. Oh, here's potions. Buy potions for money. You can play more often. And that's probably where people are finishing the game so fast because that takes 5 minutes to refill.
Yeah, I just don't ever use those potions.
I don't either.
I think I probably have like 30 of them or something. Yeah. By the way, you can also get them with My Nintendo points. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
There's really nothing to get with the My Nintendo points that you actually need.
Yeah, and you get a bunch of points for finishing the Fire Emblem chapters, and then you're like, well, what can I do with this? I guess I can get more swords to play the arena more. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the arena too. The actual mechanics of how the arena scoring works, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about the heroes for a little while because that's the fun part.
Okay.
I didn't understand because it was not explained the first time at all.
By the way, it's not explained anywhere. By the way, so like, don't even feel bad because I also didn't know for like a really long time how this scoring stuff works. It is a win streak based scoring system. Yeah. So you play a map against another player created team, which is actually something that's really cool. Yeah. It lets you take any of the characters the game has, put them together however you want. You get 4 of the same character if you want, if you're rich enough to somehow have those. I've played against that team. It's not fun.
4 Takumis.
It wasn't. I didn't win. Guess what? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But and then you say, okay, I'm ready to fight. And you get a choice of 3 people, a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced, based on criteria that I don't understand.
I think it's just their character levels.
That sounds reasonable. Like stat totals
because
or something.
Because their tier doesn't matter. Their tier can be tier 2, but they can be advanced 3.
Yeah. I don't understand how any of that works.
This is what I'm talking about. Tier 3, intermediate, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's like 7 different designations for something that you would...
But here's the things you have to understand is it doesn't matter.
No, I know.
Who cares?
I know. It's impossible for someone to understand what we're talking about.
They throw so much stuff at you to try to get you to care about the wrong things. Well, you got to focus on you. You got to focus on your people and getting your people to win. You need that W. You got to get that win.
Yeah.
And because in the arena, all the wins, your total score is your best. So at the end of a map, they give you a score based on, as far as I can tell, some arbitrary stuff based on how many people you have left alive at the end of battle. So like, if all your people survive and all their people die, which you have to kill all of them to win, then you get a higher score than if all your people are dead.
And bonus bet whether you use that month's characters.
Yeah. That's all I can tell about the scoring. I have no idea how it actually works. So then you win that map. They give you a score. It's a few hundred points. And then you can play again. And as long as you keep winning, the score keeps adding up. And your total is however many wins in a row you can put together, up to 7. 7 is the maximum number that it can be added together. If you play again after that 7th win, you start over at 1. And then have to try and beat that total.
Right.
Yes. It's extremely confusing.
And you get a certain amount of days to do it in, like a season.
Yeah.
And if you get to 3,000...
Seasons are really short, by the way.
Yeah, but it's enough time to do it without using any crests.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't lose a lot, which you shouldn't. If you get to 3,001 points, there's no point in playing it anymore.
Because that's the top...
That's the highest
rank.
You can get, yeah.
Okay. I have never gotten anywhere close to
3,000 points, really?
No, I think I got... I think my highest was like 2,000 something. Oh. Yeah.
How's that possible?
My guys die all the time, Andrew.
Oh. Well, we should talk about who your guys are and do the fun part of this after this, but the last 2 I've gotten 3,000.
Oh, nice. Well done. Well done.
It nets you 100 feathers. Oh, look, another currency, feathers. Let's talk about feathers, yeah. JJ.
Feathers are the big gate in this game, and they are used to like what would be called in like other kinds of these games, like evolving or upgrading your heroes to make them from lower versions of themselves to higher versions. So if you want to have the 5-star version, which is the highest rarity,
not level, by the way, stars are not levels.
Correct. Stars are not levels. Stars are like basically like the quality of your starting statistics. That's what you can think of the stars as. And it's actually literally
if you in D&D, right? If you got like more bonuses or something because of your race.
You can think of it as in D&D as if you rolled higher numbers to start with for all your statistics.
Right, yeah.
And that's it's like, oh, you rolled more 12s instead of 10s. Mm-hmm.
Sure. That's a better analogy than I was coming up with.
Yeah. It will take your hero from whatever level they are, and when you upgrade them to their next higher level, start them over at level 1.
Woof.
Yeah, bummer.
That's all right. I've got enough shards and.
I was just about to say I have so many of those leveling shards.
God.
I don't even use them. So the feathers are the currency you need to upgrade them, along with another type of currency called badges. But you'll end up with so many badges as a course of playing the training tower that you won't really care about that part of the requirement.
Why won't you care, JJ?
Because you have to do a lot of the training tower to level your guys up. And so you get badges all the time.
And how many badges do you need to level somebody up? 1, 2, 5?
It's like 20.
Okay, 20? How many feathers do you need to level someone from a meaningful 4-star to a good 5-star?
It's 20,000.
How many do you have?
12,000.
How many would you have if Nintendo hadn't given you 10,000 for free?
4,000.
It's impossible to take your people from 4 to 5. You just have to roll 5s.
So there are some ways to earn feathers. The arena is a really good place. It's actually the best place currently in the game.
You get 1,000 every season, ish.
Yeah. Like you can get a little bit more depending on various statistics, but yeah, you get around like 1,000 or 1,500 or something. But again, the game is built to keep your interest in the long haul, and so this kind of gating mechanism is something that they want to be.
It's just silly,
just so that you don't get all the heroes and complete all of them by spending $70,000 right out of the gate and be like, boom, I'm done. Uninstall the game.
Yeah. I agree with it. It's just funny that it is
an insanely high number, and it's really, 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 really too high. It's really ridiculous.
So that's battling in the arena.
Yeah. The arena actually, I think, is like, despite all the problems with it, it is actually really fun because it's the only place you get to fight the same heroes you have on your teams, like a full, curated composition.
I'm glad that it's computer controlled. Otherwise, you just lose all the time.
Yes, thank God. Oh my God, yes. If it was against humans, you would just the game would be over. Also, by the way, you can have stalemates.
Oh, like accidentally
2 heroes that do
other?
0 damage to each
really?
other. No, they just stand there and do 0 damage, and you're just like, I don't know what to do.
What do you do?
You lose.
Oh no.
Yeah, it doesn't auto end the game, but there's nothing you can do. You just have to surrender because neither hero is going to win.
Okay.
It's just you stand there and fight each other. I thought that's.
I want to be clear that there's a lot of this that worries me, and there's a lot of it that I see as just a time sink because I've seen games like this before. But I do enjoy the parts that I want to talk about now. Enough that I'm going to keep playing this game.
All right.
Let's talk about some heroes and the special maps and playing the actual game part of the game and the experiences you've had and things that I don't know because you know more about Fire Emblem than me. I want to talk about the fun parts.
I just want to have fun.
The special maps are awesome. They keep adding. They added another one today. That's another thing about this.
They added another one today? See, man, I didn't even click on it yet.
They added another special map today. The special maps get you orbs, lots and lots of orbs actually, but they take tons of stamina to play them.
Yeah, they're expensive.
They're hard. They're actually kind of hard. They're new, challenging maps. Each of these is kind of like once you finish the story, right there, there's different ways for them to add to the story. They have paralogs, which introduce new characters to the game as well as give you more orbs and give you more story in these games a little bit.
Right. Or at least give you some more introduction to who these new random characters that are showing up are.
And they add these special maps. I don't know if they'll keep doing them after the game because they keep saying it's the world introduction maps or something like that. But they're pretty fun. It's all kind of like a puzzle, and you can take your heroes that are high level into them or lower level if you want experience for lower level ones and try and win the games, man. And who's your favorite character so far?
Man, it's so tough to say who's my favorite. I think I'm doing the one who's doing the most work for me at the moment is the ninja lady Kagero.
Oh, okay.
and she's not even. I have a 4-star version
Cool.
of her, which I don't think she shows up as a 5. So you'd have to upgrade her.
Oh, really? She's not a 5-star? How do you find that
Or
out?
maybe she. The internet.
The internet can tell you. Oh, she's got a 5-star base.
Does she?
I don't know. How do you
Okay.
find out if they're... This is going to be the nerdy part of this, by the way, everybody. We're just going to geek out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I don't know I mean, I assume people have just like kept pulling from the slot machine enough times.
Rarities... Yeah, it says Rarities 4-star, 5-star on this website. Do you want to give a shout out to this website you found?
Yeah, so it's feheroes.wiki. And it's the Fire Emblem Heroes wiki there. And on sort of, they have like a list of all the various heroes and some various people's opinions on how good they are.
Yeah, there's a tier list like in these games that generally exist of who's the
Right.
best. Do you have any of the S plus heroes?
No, I do not.
I have a Takumi.
Oh, wow.
5-star.
That's nice for you. That explains why you have 3,000 points in the arena. I think I figured it out.
He only shows up in 5-star, so I guess saying I have a 5-star is kind of silly.
Yes, he's a 5-star only.
Do you have any
but
S-rank heroes?
According to this list, I have 2. So Kagero is 1, but I have the 4-star version, so maybe she's not quite as good. And then I have the blue dragon lady, Noe or whatever.
Naui? I don't know.
I don't know how to say her name. Although I actually do have Olivia, but she's not high enough.
You have a
level yet.
Sharina. Everybody has a Sharina.
Yeah, except again, like she's 2-star or whatever you get her at.
Okay.
So I would have to do all the work to upgrade her to 4-star, I guess. If her abilities are pretty good, man. She has pretty good stats apparently when you level her all the way up, but I have not bothered to do that.
So I have I don't think you can get her outside of the story mode. You'd have to level her.
No, yeah, you do have to do all that leveling and then take her from. I guess you only have to take them to 20 in order to use the star increase.
Yeah, 20's not that hard.
It'd be 2-star to 3-star, and then 3-star to 4-star, and then wait until you get more feathers.
Yeah. So I have in the S rank 4-star Olivia. I have
nice. Did you upgrade one, or did you get it from the free map?
Olivia?
Or sorry, did you get?
I roll
Olivia?
a 4-star Olivia.
Nice. I have one, but only because I got her from the free thing.
Oh, okay.
There was by the way, pro tip for anyone playing this game. Every day there's one of the special maps that Andrew talked about that you can beat and get a character. Like a random, well, it's not random. There's a set list of them, but
Yeah, they've started recycling them now too.
Yes, yeah. So it seems like they have a rotation there. But Olivia is one of those special ones that shows up. And she is really good once you get her. I think you have to upgrade her to 3-star first to get the dance ability.
Mm-hmm.
But once you have the dance ability, she is a monster. This dance essentially lets a character take a second turn, which is insane.
So I also have a
pro tip: get that character when she shows up.
Yeah, I also have a Naui, 4-star.
Yeah. Again, she seems like she's really good. I don't particularly enjoy her art really at all.
Yeah, of course.
But she seems good. I would like to upgrade her to 5 stars, but I don't. Feather.
All right, let's go. We'll do the A pluses and then we'll stop.
Okay.
Do you have any A pluses?
Yeah, I have Lynn.
Nice.
Who I think you,
5-star.
You also have Lynn, right? Yep, the 5.
Yeah, I have a 5-star Lynn.
Does she only come in 5-star?
She only comes in 5-star. So there you go.
Okay. So there we go.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at these other ones they have listed here. I don't think I have any of these other ones.
Okay, so I have a 5-star Lynn, a 4-star Roy, a 5-star Tharja, and a 4-star Tiki. And that's it
The
for
adult-
this list.
the adult Tiki.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Those are all like the people we've talked about are all pretty good.
I don't know if you've noticed, but everything I have is red.
I did notice that you have a lot of reds there. That's not great.
Well, considering I have Takumi, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Takumi's colorless, so he's, it's Takumi greater than all, apparently.
He should have his own rank.
Actually, some people are saying that Hector is better.
Really?
Only because Hector counters Takumi by having armor. So Takumi does very little damage to him, and then Hector can ranged attack Takumi back. So people are saying Hector is probably the best one because Takumi is so popular.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting, man. And even though, so like I use a hero currently that's in like on this list is in the B tier. One of the healer, Sarah, on my team pretty frequently.
Okay. Just
because like I don't really have anyone of the higher levels. I don't have a better healer than her at this point.
I've seen Sakura listed way higher than this.
Yeah, again, right, this is like an amalgamation of several different websites' opinions. So like maybe certain websites would have them ranked higher or lower. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the combat. Trying to a lot of the hard part is, at least in my opinion, is trying to put the experience in the right people's hands. Do you understand what I'm saying by that?
Yeah, when you're playing your maps, making sure that the lower experienced characters actually get the kills.
Right, and because in true Fire Emblem fashion, this happens in the full games as well. The killing blow gives a ton more experience than the rest of the fighting. So like you two guys fight each other, neither of them die. Both of them gain a small amount of experience, right? But if one of them dies, the killer gets like a huge amount of experience.
No.
So like it's really focused on getting that last hit.
Am I correct that if your hero dies, they lose whatever experience they gained that map?
During that map? That's correct. Ugh. But I found out that the level ups, like they seem random, like how many of the different points you get when you level up.
Okay.
Those will be the same.
Oh,
so
right.
I found this out by leveling up and then being killed immediately on the next turn. And then I played again, right? I beat it this time. The level up I got was the same.
Oh, okay.
So you will end up with, I guess by the time you get to level 40, which is the max, you will end up with the same stat distributions, plus or minus some small bonuses here or there as everyone else.
Cool.
So even though it's random, you end up at the same place.
Gotcha.
Which is good.
Cool.
Because the worst thing that happens at Fire Emblem in the full games is when you level up and your guy gets no stat bonuses.
Yeah, just gets SP and you're like, really?
You're like, you doing this to me? You doing this to me now? Why you gotta do this to me? But then that gets balanced out by then, the next level you'll get +1 to everything. You're like, yes. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it so far. At least the playing aspect of it. I really wish I could turn the notifications off, though. I will say that part really annoys me.
Oh, your dueling swords have been returned?
Oh, your stamina is refilled. Oh, your dueling swords are back. Oh, your stamina is back. Oh, your dueling swords are back. I'm not going to use it. Stop it, Nintendo. I'm on a beach or whatever. In this previous case, I was on the beach, and I'm like, stop sending me notifications. I'm trying to read this book.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things that wants to garner all your attention. I worry about how much you want to play other games like Hearthstone or things like that. I guess if you're not worried about constantly being, leveling your heroes as fast as possible, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Because you even said this yourself, and it's actually a really good point. Like, what do you get? Like, what's the end, right? There is no end. So you should only be doing it when you have free time and you want to spend it on doing something like this.
The main problem with these games is that, and maybe they've fixed this problem, and I'll explain my thought in a second. But the main problem you encounter in these games is that if you don't stay on the treadmill of using and leveling and all that sort of stuff, eventually in the arena you're going to be non-competitive.
Right. So I think your opinion, the thing you're thinking of, right, is the tiers, and like maybe all the people that stay on the treadmill will end up in much higher tiers,
right?
And you or I that maybe don't, because we don't have time for that bull.
The other thing that I'm thinking of actually isn't that. It's that tier 1 to tier 3, unless they really expand the tiers, you're gaining a minuscule amount of feathers compared to what you actually need.
Yeah. I got no defense for him on that. The feather distribution rate is low.
It's fine.
It just is.
It is what it is. It's going to take you 3 months to level your hero.
Yeah. That's sad. honestly, like I'm at the point where like I have, I only have one 5-star hero. I am not a lucky person apparently. So I did not pull many other 5-star people.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my team is mostly 4-star people, and then the one 5-star that I have. And I think in general, if I have a good character, I would rather take a 3-star to a 4-star, even though that's not probably what you're supposed to be doing. You're probably supposed to be saving to get those 5 stars, because then it will make my process of playing more fun.
I think it doesn't matter if you have a 3-star. You want to make a 4-star. It's only 1,000 feathers.
Right. Well, that like my point is that like you probably should be saving those 1,000 feathers to try and get if you want to play optimally, right?
No, I think it's probably fine because 4-star characters that are good are better than 3-star characters
bad
that are
3-star
good.
characters. Yeah. You're probably right.
Like if I had a choice of like using a 3-star Tharja or like moving her up, like why wouldn't I?
It just depends on like and the skills and stuff too, because especially because you unlock so many of the more powerful skills at the higher levels too. Yeah. Andrew, do you have a favorite way to farm SP? Because Lynn has a skill that costs 500, and I need a lot.
Oh, that's right. She has that.
She has Gale
Force thing. Yeah.
Have you unlocked that yet?
No.
I had someone use it against me in the arena. It's really good. It's the cooldown is super long on it, but you get to act twice, and then you can be danced on and act again. It's really, really unfair.
I think.
But yeah, 500 experience, though, for SP.
It goes fast if you just use them all the time. The SP, I don't know if you notice this, but you don't only get SP when you level. You also get it per attack.
Right.
So send them up against things that they'll attack more than once.
Yeah. Okay. My problem is that Lynn kills just most things.
Especially if she's low on health.
Yeah. She just walks over everyone.
I've had her do 90 damage one time.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I don't know what the max is in this game, but that's probably close.
Is there a max level for the characters? Have they said?
40.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yep. I have one level 40.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, my Takumi is only 38, so.
Yeah. And actually, like, getting up to 40 isn't that tough, especially because you earn experience in Arena, which thank God, because you end up playing Arena quite a bit.
Only 3 times per day.
Yeah. But I mean, that's if you were done with all your characters and made the team that you wanted, really, the only thing you would end up doing is Arena.
That's true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, man. I feel the treadmill part of it, but I still enjoy it enough, like going into the battle. And now that I've started to level characters up and you have good enough ones that you can start to play with the triangle on your team a little bit, although not a lot of it for me since I have mostly red characters.
I have almost no green characters. Like, actually, I'm looking at this list. I have one, and according to this list, he's a B. And I don't have anyone else. Oh, I guess I have Anna. They say Anna is an A, but I would, again, have to give her a bunch of stars because she's like 1 star or something now.
I have a C rank 5-star Virion.
Hey.
But like a lot of these categories, I don't have anything in. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially like some of them, like the dragon category or whatever, there's basically like 5 of those characters in the whole game. So like you can't feel bad if you don't have one of those.
Sure. There's one green dragon.
Right. And there's 2 blue ones and 2 red ones who are the same person at different ages.
Yeah.
Which is really dumb. There's a ton of characters in Fire Emblem that aren't in this game, and they put 2 of the same person. Come on.
Well, they probably put all the popular characters in right away.
They absolutely did, yeah. And that character is popular from both of those games, when she was the young one and the old one. So.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I think it's probably enough nerding out about this. people will probably still play this game. You'll get some updates.
Yeah, they've been adding quests like nonstop.
Which, thank God, because in some of the cases, I had nothing else to do except like grind more maps, and I didn't really want to keep playing the story maps because I was bored. So it's nice. It's like, oh, hey, fight a bunch of, make a whole team of axe people. I don't have that many, but or make a whole team of sword people. Okay, we can do this.
Yeah, no, the quests might be the thing that I'm thinking of what's the return value. So we'll see what they keep adding for those, and I'll give you an update. I sounded really negative on this because I've played these types of games before, and they're very, very treadmill-y with not an end in sight and very
intentionally built that way. Yeah,
but the shallow in terms of what you're actually gaining for your time, right? So
oh yeah,
maybe this won't be that shallow, and I get to be more positive in the future. I certainly enjoy the tactical combat enough that I want to play more tactical combat games like Fire Emblem, but that it's a worthy use of time. Although it apparently means that I'm not going to have enough time for Hearthstone and Mario Run. And
I think the takeaway is I've played a game like this. I played Puzzle and Dragons for a few years actually. I haven't played for the past several years, but you just have to. I got to a point in that game where there'd be like one goal. I would just set myself one goal, right? And like, okay, here's this character. I want to evolve this character. And then I just worked, whenever I had free time, I played a little bit working towards that goal. And like, it just became a game about me. And like, the people said the best team is this, and it's off over here doing this, playing these big, cool maps and whatever. But like, I couldn't do that. So at some point, you just have to make the game about you and what you want to do, and if you're having fun, then great. And if you're not having fun, then like don't play. Like definitely stop, because like Andrew said, this game intentionally does not want you to stop, and it is if you allow yourself, it will exploit you and take all your money. Beat the game, don't let the game beat you. There we go.
Wonderful life advice there, JJ. I love it. And if people want more of it, they can email us at podcasts@weweregamers.com. And JJ will respond with life advice specific to your situation in his Dear JJ section. You can find us on Facebook.com/weweregamers, Twitter.com/weweregamers, Instagram.com/weweregamers.
Yeah, pretty much We Were Gamers on a social media site. We're probably there.
Anywhere on the internet. I haven't actually searched us in a long time to see if we actually pop up if you Google We Were Gamers. But I have a feeling it would probably work.
We're in there somewhere for sure.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. weweregamers.com/podcast is the second hit on Google after our Facebook, We Were Gamers. So just Google us. We Were Gamers, you guys.
We're number one.
We're the most We Were Gamers you can find on
that is the most true statement that can be said.
Look, even the number one image search on Google is our little thing. So
boom.
We're not hard to find.
So, find us. Let us know how you feel about life, the universe, and everything.
Oh, I didn't talk about it. We'll talk about it next time. I did some reading, and Douglas Adams should be next on my list. Thank you for that.
Oh, man. Yeah, Douglas Adams is so good, man.
All right. Don't forget to bring your towel, people.
Yeah.